Hi students, welcome to your next yoga practice. So in this practice we are focusing on backwards bending. But keep in mind that you already know several back bends: cobra, sphinx, we've done upward facing dog, cow. So back bends don't have to be super deep. And remember, we're focusing on the thoracic spine, mostly trying to get it to work into extension. Even though the lower back is going to love backwards bending because it's already in that curve, we don't want to just think about increasing that arch. We want to try and work on upper back as well. But I'll keep reminding you as we go through practice. So you'll see I have my bolster out on my mat to start. We're gonna start in a little more gentle of a back bend, a reclining heart opener. So take your bolster or whatever you're using as a bolster long ways on your mat. You're going to have a seat in front of that and then recline back and let your arms open out to the sides. Your legs can be however is comfortable for this. They might stay bent, you might extend them straight. If you would like a little hip opening as well, you could take soles of the feet together and let the knees open. And just try to settle in, let the weight of your torso sink into your bolster. And you're welcome to close your eyes in this shape. Now hopefully you're in your shape and you're not noticing that I sat up and came out of that shape. Throughout today's practice, more often I will show you a back bend and then I will come out of that posture to then talk you through it. Because it's very difficult to speak while also maintaining the integrity of the alignment in these back bends. This first one is not so hard, but several others I won't be able to keep, especially my cervical spine, in the correct alignment if I'm also talking to you and giving you cues. And also, it's a good reminder that if you're looking at your screen, you're probably not in the correct alignment either. So I'll be showing you things so that you can see them once and then you can practice it and I'll talk you through it. But you can always rewind if you need to go back and see what a position looks like again as you're coming into it. So as we start here in this reclining heart opener, take a deep breath and let that breath go. So today I'll invite you to think about a new niyama, svadhyaya, which means self-study. So this niyama is just reminding us to take the time to get to know your true self and do the things that help you to do that. So your yoga practice could be one way. You start to learn more about your body, your mind, your spirit, how you respond to things. But there are probably other things already in your life you do that help you get to know your true self a little better. Maybe you keep a journal. Maybe you get to know yourself a little better by spending time with those that you love. Maybe religion plays into this self-study. Maybe there are creative activities you do that help you feel closer to your true self, like singing or dancing, painting, gardening, cooking. And if I'm starting to say these things and you are kind of drawing a little bit of a blank, you don't know what you really do, that constitutes self-study. Maybe you make a note to figure out. Find something that when you're doing that something, you feel a little bit closer to your true, deepest identity. It could just be sitting and thinking about who you are, what your goals are for this life. Of course, a meditation practice is a great way to practice svadhyaya or self-study, but there are many ways. As we make our way through our asana practice today, let this be one way that you get to know a little bit more about yourself, and particularly how you respond to these heart-opening and backward bending shapes? Is it something that feels easy for you in what can be very vulnerable postures? Think about if you were a warrior. You would have armor that would, of course, protect your chest and your heart. It's a very vulnerable part of the human body. And so doing these postures that essentially opens up that vulnerable place can feel a little unnerving for some of us. And that doesn't mean it's bad, but it's a good thing to notice about ourselves. And if you do respond in that this feels not just physically hard in a tight shoulder or tight thoracic spine, but it feels difficult to really open up the area around the heart, maybe spending a little more time in some of these restorative heart openers, like where we're starting, or some more time in self-study will help that feel a little more comfortable for you in the future. Breathing in and breathing out. For today's practice, I'm going to encourage you to stick with Samavriti even breath without any holds. Just inhale matches the exhale, but not needing to go into Ujjayi. Just sticking with Samavriti. 2 more breaths where you are. Start to sweep your hands closer to your hips. Pull your chin towards your chest and press yourself up off your bolster enough to slide it off your mat out of the way. And then come back to your back, but also make sure your strap is nearby. Once you land back on your back, bend the knees, feet are flat. Take the right ankle, cross it over the left thigh, and open that right knee away from you. You're welcome to stay here or to hug the left knee in towards your chest for a little bit deeper stretch. Reclining pigeon. This is also sometimes called figure 4. Next, exhale, release that left foot, uncross the legs, and then crossing other side. Left ankle over right thigh, open the left knee away. Stay there or hug the right knee towards you for a deeper stretch. Releasing the right foot, uncross the left leg. Pick up your strap and take your strap around the heel of the right foot. So anytime you're doing stretches with a stiff strap like this, you want your strap to come either around the heel or the ball of the foot, but not directly in the arch, because then you're just mashing on all those muscles across the arch of the foot. If you have a stretchy band, then that's a little bit safer in the arch. But here, because our bands are stiff, we want around heel of the foot. And then just reach that leg towards you for a little bit of a hamstring stretch. Take the leg out to the side. And your left leg can be bent here, or you could lengthen it long. Come back up to center, take both ends of your strap in your left hand. With your right hand, take your thumb into the hip crease and kind of push your hip down towards the foot of your mat. And then bring the leg across just a little bit. You want to keep that right hip down on the mat. and come back up to center. Bring your left leg up to meet the right, moving the strap to the heel of the left leg. Right foot comes down to the mat, or right leg lengthens long and left leg comes in for a stretch. So your leg can be straight here or it can be slightly bent. Just so you're feeling a stretch in the back of the thigh, and maybe you're feeling calf as well. If you feel it just behind the knee, bend the knee a little bit. Take that leg out to the side. Come back to center. Both ends of the strap in your right hand. Left thumb is going to go in the hip crease. Push the hip down towards the foot of your mat and bring the leg across the body just a few inches. You want to keep the left hip rooted down. Leg comes back up to center. Pull it in one more time. Release the strap. Put it off to the side. Hug your knees into your chest. And your choice here, you can rock a little front to back, eventually coming up to sitting, or you can roll to one side and just push your way up to sitting. Once you're up, come to table, hands and knees. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Twice more. Come back to neutral. Walk your hands forward and then lower yourself down to your stomach, but come up to your forearms right away for Sphinx. So hopefully you remember this posture. We did it in our yin practice. But it's also a great early back bend to put near the start of practice to start to get us used to this shape. And while we're here in Sphinx, we're going to do a little bit of warming up of the neck as well. So start to turn your head over your right shoulder. You can keep the head upright, or top of the head reaches a little forward as your chin comes closer towards your collarbone. And if that doesn't feel as good, just come back upright. Come back through center. Take the head over the left shoulder. Again, staying upright or maybe tilting a little forward. Coming back through center. Take the right arm sideways across your mat, bend your left knee. Reach back for that left foot. If you can't reach it, you can loop your strap around your ankle or your foot and pull the foot closer towards your hips for a quad stretch. If you need a little more intensity, reach your knee towards the back end of your mat. Release. Switching sides, left arm comes sideways across, right knee bends. Reach back for that right foot, bringing it towards the hips for a quad stretch. Feel the low belly pull slightly away from the mat. Release that foot. Come back to center. Hands under shoulders, press to table. Tuck your toes, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Pressing strong through the shoulders, relax the head. Walking through the feet if you would like to, warming up calves a little bit more. Sit bones are high. Pressing your weight through the whole surface of the hands. One more full breath. Inhale forward to plank. Lower all the way to your stomach. Reach your arms forward overhead. Now my head is up so that I can talk to you and you can hear me, but your gaze should be down. Keep the back of your neck long. On your inhale, reach your right arm and your left leg up off the mat. Exhale to lower. Switch sides. Inhale and exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. Sweep your hands back by your hips. Inhale, locust. Chest and legs reach up. Fingers reach towards the heels. Back of the neck is long. Exhale to lower, hands under shoulders. Press to table or plank. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale, plank. Drop your heels to the right. Lift your left arm. Side plank. Now you can stay here or you can lower your right knee and shin for a modified version to take some of the weight out of your wrist or your shoulder. Wherever you are, stay here for one more breath. Come back to plank. Lower knees, chest, chin towards your mat. Inhale, cobra. Downward facing dog on your exhale. Full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, plank. Heels drop left. Right arm reaches up. Side plank. Option to stay here or to lower the left knee and shin. Next exhale returns you to plank. Inhale here, downward facing dog. Slowly walk your feet to your hands. Bend your knees, let the head fall heavy. And then slowly roll your way up to standing. Pull the shoulders up, back and down. Standing tall. Breath in, breath out. Now in our sun salutation, remember last week you learned how to jump back directly to chaturanga. So I'm going to cue, if you want to do that today, you can. If you just want to step back to plank, you're definitely welcome to do that, always. You don't ever have to jump if you don't want to, but know that option's there. And we haven't done very much, we haven't done any chaturangas yet this practice, so you might not want to jump the first one, you might want to step the first one and then jump later on. Of course, that is always up to you. Just like your choice between chaturanga and ashtangasana, or cobra, or up dog, those are always choices you have, regardless of if I just cue one or the other. So come back to Tadasana. Next time you inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale to fold, Uttanasana. Come up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Hop to chaturanga or step back to plank, and then lower your choice of ways towards your mat. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog, and exhale to downward facing dog. One breath in, one breath out. Right leg reaches up, three-legged dog. Step forward to your lunge. Rise up to high lunge. Back heel stays lifted. As the arms reach up, interlace the fingers, index fingers stay extended. Now maybe you take your gaze and your heart slightly up. Crescent lunge. Bring your gaze back forward, hands open and come down to the mat. Step back to plank, lower all the way to your belly. Take one arm straight off the mat, palm is down. Now push into your other hand and roll towards that straight arm, coming into a shoulder stretch. Your legs can be however's comfortable to help keep you in the stretch. Your head could be lifted, or you might lower it to the mat. Come back through center, and then take the other arm straight out to the side, palm is down, and roll towards that shoulder. Come back to center, bring hands under shoulders, press to plank, and to downward facing dog. Next, inhale, left leg reaches up, three-legged dog. Step forward to a lunge. Back heel stays lifted as you rise up, high lunge. Go ahead and bring the hands together, interlace. Index fingers stay extended, right thigh is reaching up. Now maybe your heart and your gaze reach up, crescent lunge. Now if you feel a lot of pinching in your low back when you take the gaze up, just bring it back forward. One more breath. Release the hands down to the mat. Step back to plank. Lower all the way to your stomach. Now this time, an arm is going to come out in a 90-degree angle. So elbow is even with your shoulder, palm is down. Roll towards that bent arm. You'll feel this more in the front of your chest. Come back through center, take the other arm out in that same 90-degree angle, and then roll towards that arm. Come back through center. Reach your hands back by your hips. Inhale, locust. Chest and legs reach up, fingers reach down towards your heels. Exhale to lower. Stack the hands, rest the forehead. Now you can stay resting while I talk. So coming up next, we're gonna have the option, you can go into locust one more time, or you can move to bow, which is gonna be a deeper back bend. So let's start figuring out if bow is going to work for you, or you'll just stick with locust. So go ahead and lift your head and bend your knees, but keep the knees close together. So that's going to be important. If your knees have to spread apart in order for you to grab your feet, you're not going to want to come into bow. Knees stay close. Now see if you can reach either tops of feet or your ankles. If you cannot, then right away, let it go. You're going to come to locust again. If you can reach feet or ankles and you want to come into bow instead, you're going to reach your feet up towards the ceiling. Try to get your thighs off the mat and pull your feet away from your hands, and this will be bow. So take your choice, either coming into bow or locust. One more time. Breath in. Breath out. Next exhale, release back down to your mat. Rest your head. Lifting the forehead, taking hands back under your shoulders, press to plank, to downward facing dog. Take a full breath. Step or hop, feet to hands, forward fold. Come up halfway, long spine. Exhale, fold. Top of the head leads you up. Open your arms, Tadasana. Breath in and breath out. So we're going to come into a standing balance next. You might want your strap for this. I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do this posture, dancer, and then you can make your choice. So shift your weight into your right foot and lift the left knee. Just take your hands to your hips for a moment. And then you're going to take that knee, circle it out to the side and behind you, and then pull it back forward. Do that 2 more times. Circling around, pull it back, and circle. Now take the knees close together and reach back with your left hand for that foot. Now I'm going to turn around so that you can see this a little bit better. So weight is in my right foot. My left hand is reaching back with the palm up, and I'm going to come in to the arch side of the foot. So my thumb is near my big toe. That's going to help your shoulder drop down into its proper alignment. Now pull the foot towards the hips, tuck your hips under. Now your right hand can either stay sort of at your heart, or I like to take thumb and index finger together and actually reach that arm up. And then you can push the foot into your hand, lift it away from your hips as the thigh reaches up. Dancer. Now if that feels like too much, you can stay here in the quad stretch. There's also one more variation, so go ahead and come out of this one. Let's try the second variation and then you can make your choice. So grab your strap, and you're going to take your strap in a big U shape and put it down on the mat in front of you. So you want to have a little bit of space in front of you. I'm standing on my right foot, left foot stands on the strap. Then I'm going to cross the strap over the foot and switch hands. So you've got sort of a V on top of your foot. Then with your right foot, step through that V. Start to pick up your left foot behind you. And then bring your elbows overhead. Your hands are going to walk down the strap as your foot lifts. So this is a variation of king dancer. The eventual is you would keep walking your hands down that strap until eventually you could grab your foot. So this is more of the back bend, where our non-strap version, the eventual is your legs are gonna become more straight and you're gonna be reaching more forward. So decide if you're still in that strap variation. If you like it, stay there for a couple more breaths. If not, go ahead and drop your strap, come back to our hold the foot version. Wherever you are, you've got 2 more breaths. Start to bring your chest back up. Release your foot or your strap. Bring both feet down to the mat. Tadasana. Let's take a half sun salutation in between sides. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Come halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Reverse swan dive all the way up. And exhale, Tadasana. 1 breath in, 1 breath out. Now let's try the opposite side. And let's try both versions, even though you might already know which version you like better. So shifting weight into your left foot, lift the right knee. And then start with those circles. So if you're facing me, you're gonna be here. Circle out to the side, around and forward. And circle. Take that 1 more time. And then bring the knees close together. So this time your right hand is going to reach back, palm up, and reach for the arch side of the foot so your thumb is near your big toe. Hips point forward. Resist the urge to open that right hip, even though it makes it a little bit easier. Index finger and thumb come together, hand reaches up. Slight bend in the left knee. Chest can come forward, but keep your gaze and your chest forward and not down as the foot pushes into the hand and lifts away from the hips. Dancer. And then slowly, let's test out the other variation and you can make your choice. Grabbing your strap, making that U on your mat, right foot steps in the U, cross your strap so you have the V. Step through the V, pick up your foot behind you, elbows come overhead. Hands start to walk down your strap as your foot lifts. King dancer variation. So stay here if this is the variation you like the best, or release your foot from your strap, come back to that other variation. You've got 2 more breaths wherever you are. Try to take your drishti or your gaze straight out in front of you, not down at the floor. Last breath. Start to lift your chest, release your foot or your strap, step both feet down, come back to the top of your mat, Tadasana. 1 breath in, 1 breath out. Arms reach up and overhead, inhale. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Come up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Hop to Chaturanga or step to plank and flow through. Inhale to lift the heart. Downward facing dog on your exhale. 2 full breaths here. Lower your knees to the mat. and have a seat somewhere that is comfortable for you. And I'm going to show you our next posture, and then you'll have a chance to try it, and I'll walk you through it. So we're coming into camel or Ustrasana next. You're going to be on your knees and your shins for this. So if you'd like to have a little extra cushion, you might grab your blanket to bring under your knees for that extra cushion. Now I'm actually going to be kind of moving around so that you can see what's happening, but I'll move that blanket around as I need to. So on knees and shins, your toes can be flat or you can tuck them under. That's up to you. Your hands are going to start on your low back. Your fingers can point down or up, whatever helps you to be able to pull your shoulders towards the spine and drop them down away from your ears at the same time. Then your hips are trying to tuck under. So notice if I'm here, I sort of have this extra arch in my low back. I want to try and tuck my hips under, press them forward. You might feel your glutes tighten. Try not to squeeze your butt together, but that tucking under is what we're looking for. You might feel a stretch across the front of the hips or thighs. Then your hands come to your low back. Now the first one we're gonna do, we're just going to lift the chest up and maybe start to drift back a tiny bit. That's it. If you feel pain in the low back, come back up, concentrate on pulling the belly in more tightly and tucking the hips under more. Because remembering we're trying to get our upper back into extension, not just crash into the lower back. If that feels okay, you maybe can go a little bit deeper on the second one. If that feels like enough, you'll stay exactly there. If you want to go deeper, you're gonna start to drop your head and shoulders back a little farther. Now to drop your head back, there's a trick to get a little more length out of the neck. You're gonna open your mouth, push your lower jaw forward before you close your mouth, and then drop your head back. I'll show you what that looks like. I cannot talk and do it at the same time. So I would open, and it might look a little silly, but it lengthens out the back of the neck and gives you some more space in order to drop the head back. So if you want to drop your head back, take that little tidbit. If you're going back pretty far, you might even bring your blocks in to give you something to reach towards. So your blocks would then set up next to your ankles. And I'll show you this and then I'll walk you through it. So still just watch. Hands come to the low back, pull the shoulders back and down. Hips tuck under, belly pulls in. Chest lifts. I could just stay here, or if I want to go farther, I can drop my neck and reach for my blocks. To come back up, I'm gonna pull my chin towards my chest. I'm gonna bring my hands back to my low back, lift myself back up. And then you can sit and rest, but don't come into child's pose or cat until we finish both sets of camel. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. If you wanna see it one more time, go ahead and rewind your video to go back and watch. I'm just going to talk you through this because I cannot talk and be dropped back in Ustrasana at the same time. So go ahead and find your way to your knees and your shins. Take a blanket underneath you if you need a little extra cushion. Toes can be tucked or untucked. Bring your hands to your low back. Fingers can point up or down. Pull the belly in, hips press forward. Pull the shoulder blades together and drop them down towards your waist. So you want to make sure you're not here. If you have really tight shoulders, just see what you can do to pull the shoulders down. Maybe it's reach all the way around for opposite elbows, and your camel will stay very small. Keeping the hips pressing forward and the low belly in, start to lift your heart up, and maybe the head drifts a little bit towards the back of the room. Pause there, nice and small. Full breath. And then your chest is going to lift you to come back forward. Relax your arms for a moment. And we're gonna try that one more time. If you know you want to go farther, maybe take your blocks, set them up next to your ankles. You can also just reach back for your heels if you're going even deeper into the posture. But there's no need to. You can keep it just as small as what you just did. So set yourself back up. You're up on your knees and shins. Toes can be tucked or untucked. Maybe set up your blocks. Hands come to the low back, shoulders pull towards the spine and down towards the waist. Low belly pulls in, hips tuck under and press forward. Start to lift the chest up. Take the gaze towards the sky. If that still feels good, you don't feel any pinching in the low back, maybe you open the mouth, push the lower jaw forward, close it, drop the head back, continue reaching the shoulders back behind you, maybe reaching for one block at a time, then maybe for your heels. Keep the hips pressing forward. One more full breath wherever you have landed. Start to lift from your chest to pull you back upright. You can bring your hands back to the low back to help support you. And then once you get fully upright, release the arms. Now you can sit back on your heels and come into child's pose or cat if that feels better to you. Whatever counter posture feels the most comfortable for your low back. Now, if your low back feels like that was a super deep bend on it, that tells me that maybe you went a little too far or you weren't tucking the hips under and pulling the low belly in enough. Remember, the idea is we want to get our upper back into extension to help with the back bend and not just rely on our lower back to do the whole thing on its own. Take 2 more breaths in child's pose or in your other counter stretch if maybe you're moving through cat. And then come back up to table, and then downward facing dog briefly. Let's take the left leg first, reach it up, and then swing the knee and the shin forward for pigeon. So left knee is gonna come towards the left edge of your mat. So making sure that it's not directly in front of the hip, it's a little off to the side. That left foot can walk its way forward however much it's able to. The ideal is that your shin ends up parallel to the front mat edge, but for most of us, we're not gonna be all the way there. Keeping the hips level, maybe your back toes help pull that back leg out from under you some. And then notice if you're really high away from the mat, you might take your block or your blanket under that left hip for a little support. Now you're welcome to stay exactly where you are in this pigeon. You might remember we've done a folded version here, so you can fold forward if you'd like to, or I'll suggest you test out king pigeon today. For king pigeon, you're going to bend your right leg. Right hand reaches back for that foot and brings it in close. Now, if you're getting pretty close, you might reach that foot into the elbow crease. And then maybe left arm reaches up overhead, fingers reach each other, for the bind. Now that actually feels a little too much for me today, so I'm gonna go back to just grabbing the foot. And all of this is optional. You can come into any pigeon variation you would like. Take 2 more breaths. Release the foot if you grabbed it. If you're folded forward, press yourself back up to your hands. Tuck your back toes under. Step back to downward facing dog. Maybe you reach back through a 3-legged dog. Take any wiggling around you might like to. And then step that foot down. And switching sides. Right leg reaches up. The knee swings forward. Off to the right edge of the mat. Maybe your left toes help pull the left leg out from under you a little bit to settle into pigeon on this side. You can always take your blanket or your block under your right hip if you'd like a little support, because you want to keep your hips pointing forward. Resist the urge to just sort of flop over to one side here. We want to stay more upright. And then you're welcome to stay here, to fold over that front leg, or to reach for the left foot for the king pigeon variation. Now, if you're going pretty far, this foot could work all the way into the left elbow crease. It's not going to do that on this side for me today, so I'm not going to push it. If you have it in the elbow crease, you might then reach your right arm up and overhead and grab fingers. Full breath in. Full breath out. One more. If you grabbed your foot, release it gently. Tuck your toes back under. Step back to downward facing dog one more time. Maybe reaching to a 3-legged dog, doing any wiggling around of that leg you'd like. Once that feels done, come back to down dog, and then lower the knees, child's pose. Next, inhale brings you back to table. Take your feet to one side so that you can have a seat. And we're actually going to make our way down to our back right away for our last few back bends. If you want to review bridge and see it before you're on the floor to do it, stay sitting up and I'll show it to you quickly. We have done bridge in our last video, but for a reminder, once you're laying on your mat, your feet will come close to your hips, your arms will be long by the sides, and then on an inhale, press into feet, lift hips, pull one shoulder and then the other underneath you, interlacing fingers. Weight is on the triceps and off the middle of the back. Chin stays lifted away from the chest, so there's space between the back of the neck and the floor. Imagine something in between your knees you're squeezing. And we'll take a few breaths here. So if you're watching as a review, go ahead and roll down to your back now. Set yourself up, feet close to hips, arms by your sides. On an inhale, lift the hips, pull one shoulder and then the other underneath you, interlacing fingers if you can. You've got 2 more breaths in your bridge. Release your fingers, come back down to your mat, and pause here to rest. And then try and turn so that you can see me. We've got one more back bend to do, and that is upward facing bow. So you did bow Dhanurasana already. On your stomach, you reached for your feet and came into that sort of U bow shape. So this is now upward facing bow, Urdhva Dhanurasana. It's sometimes called wheel, although really the translation would be upward bow. Now, if you have pretty bad wrists, this probably isn't going to be the best back bend for you. Or if you just feel like you are done back bending, you can't take any more today, I'll suggest coming back into another bridge or even supported bridge. So remember that variation where you can take your block, you can slide it under your hips and land here for a more restful back bend before we are completely done and rest. But let me show you Urdhva Dhanurasana for those who want to go into one more deep back bend. And this actually will be a lot of stretch on the shoulders. So if your shoulders are particularly tight today, you should feel it there as well. So you're going to start, legs and torso are in the same shape as they would be for bridge, but then reach your arms up and flex your wrists back. Then as you bend your arms, your fingers are going to point towards your shoulders as your elbows come up. So right away, this might feel like a shoulder stretch for some of us. Then from here, you're going to press into your feet, lift your hips, and then press really strongly through your arms to lift your shoulders and head up off the mat. Relax the head. Now try to work your armpits closer to the front of your mat, lengthening out the legs. To come down, tuck your chin towards your chest, land on your shoulder blades, and then lower the hips down. So there are variations of this where you lift the heels. For our purposes, I would prefer you to keep your feet flat and try to go through straight legs. Straighten your legs as much as you can. You're trying to push more stretch into your shoulders and get it out of your lower back as much as you can. If you cannot make it all the way up, just try as much as you can, push, keep your chin tucked and lower back down. Don't rest on your head. That, with your neck bent back, that's a pretty scary place for your neck to be taking that much weight. So even if you go to a yoga class and a teacher tells you to rest on your head in this shape, I wouldn't do it. There are perfectly safe places to put weight in your head, like a headstand where you're nice and straight, but here with your neck bent back, it's just not the best place. So you can stick with bridge for sure. So here we go. Let's test it out once. If you want to see it again, I'll show it to you real quick. You'll press into feet, press into hands, lift up, and then try to lengthen your legs. My shoulders are feeling particularly tight today, but idea is that you get your arms all the way straight and keep pushing into the armpits. So your choice, either one more bridge or supported bridge, or pressing into upward facing bow, Urdhva Dhanurasana. Make sure your fingers point towards your shoulders, otherwise it will not work out for your shoulder. Pressing up if you haven't yet. Take 3 breaths wherever you are. If you're in upward facing bow, chin to chest, lower down to your shoulder blades. Then everybody lower your hips from bridge or Urdhva Dhanurasana. And just rest here for a couple breaths. Let the spine be long. Breathing in. Breathing out. Our very last brief back bend. Take your hands under your hips, palms down. So you're kind of sitting on your hands. Extend the legs long. Pull your elbows really close to you. So it kind of feels like your shoulders are probably creeping up right now. And now you're going to press your weight into your forearms as you bend your elbows. Lift your chest, pull the shoulder blades towards the spine, and drop the head back. Fish. Now this can be a tricky one, so if you didn't figure it out, just take a look at your video and then try again on your own. So it's important to note that your head might be touching the floor, but there shouldn't be weight dropping down through the neck, weight of the body. There might be the weight of the head in the head. One more breath. Chin to chest, lower yourself down, release your hands. Hug your knees towards your chest, rock a little side to side. Take your feet the width of your mat with the knees bent, arms out to a T. Drop your knees to the right. Gaze goes towards the left. Inhale the knees back to center and exhale to the left. Gaze goes towards the right. Inhale back to center. Hug the knees in one more time. And then exhale to a Shavasana shape of your choice. I would suggest, with all the back bending, that you take a little more supported Shavasana shape. So maybe taking your bolster under the backs of the thighs or knees, maybe even taking your blocks under your heels. And then letting the body relax fully. Eyes closing. Letting the body return to a symmetrical, long shape. Resting from the work you just put in. And taking a few moments here to study yourself. Svadhyaya. How did you respond to this practice? Physically, mentally, emotionally. And not judging your response as good or bad, but noting it just is. It reflects something about who you are in this moment. Take a deep breath in. And let that breath go. Wiggling fingers or toes, inviting some movement back. Taking your time over the next couple breaths, let that movement grow a little bit larger. Eventually, you might hug the knees to the chest or roll to your favorite side. Finding a place where you're not quite fully upright, a place of transition to pause and thank yourself for taking this time to get to know your true self a little better. As you feel ready, pressing your way up to sitting, finding your way back to any comfortable seated shape. Giving the hands somewhere to land, finding a tall spine. Using this practice as a way to incorporate the niyama svadhyaya, or self-study, into your life. And also as you prepare to travel off your mat into the rest of your day or the days ahead, maybe noting if there are a few more ways you could study or get to know your true self a little more. Breathing in fully and breathing out. Floating palms together, I bow to you in thanks for sharing practice and for being a part of our virtual yoga community.